Welp, you guys asked for it. Here we go. Azure Raphalos asks a multitude of questions, but let's go by this one by one. Number 1, can you do a face reveal? Believe it or not, I get this question a lot. Mostly from Sketchy and Linda and the server, darn it. But in terms of face reveal, I'm afraid not at the moment. I don't have any face cam kind of equipment, and even if I did, I don't feel as if it's the time yet. Maybe in the future, once we reach a certain goal in terms of subscribers, or just at a certain point in the future, maybe? I don't know. But for right now, no face reveal. Sorry about that. Can you touch a cockroach? I mean, I haven't seen any cockroaches around here, at least in person, so I don't know how the experience would go, but, I'm more leaning on the no side, honestly speaking. Bugs like that just kind of irk me. They're interesting to watch from a distance, but, like, when you're up close, just no. Can you smash your head into a brick wall? I mean, unless if I want brain damage, which is a total yes, but no, I cannot. I am not superhuman, unlike what many people seem to believe. Loki of Asgard writes, what's your opinion on Tigrex? I like it because of a lot of reasons people hate it. I hate it myself for that P. Okay, Tigrex, I'll be honest, I feel indifferent towards him. He's not one of the worst monsters I've ever faced, yet he's not one of my favorites, so to speak. And I think one of the main reasons why a lot of people seem to hate him is how he was handled in 4U. And this goes for me especially, how they handled him in the 4 Ultimate story mode, how they introduced him was a nightmare. It was terrible. Instead of introducing you to a normal variant of Tigrex to get accustomed to him, and then getting a frenzied version down the line to truly test your skills at, they just immediately throw you into the shark pit with a frenzy version. Now, for people who have played against Tigrex before, it may not seem that bad, but for people like me, who hadn't faced Tigrex ever up until 4 Ultimate, it was a nightmare. Not only did you have to accustom to a new monster, but you also had to accustom to a stronger variation of that monster. And in the end, that's why I think a lot of people ended up hating him out of 4U, because of the way he was introduced in 4 Ultimate. I, honestly speaking, got quite salty over Tigrex multiple times over 4 Ultimate, but in the end, I've just been kind of feeling meh about him. I mean, he can get annoying at times with his constant charging and aggressive nature, but at the same time, an aggressive nature and fast-paced battle makes it all the more intense and fun. So ultimately, I'm mixed on Tigrex. If the hunt goes well, then yeah, it's a fun fight. But if he starts charging around the place at the speed of a locomotive, then it's gonna be a doozy. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, says, question, what got you started on the Monster series? What got me started on the Monster series? Okay, this is kind of a long story. It's interesting how it went about, and I remember it specifically. I remember that I woke up for school one morning, and as I always do when waking up for school, I had done everything I need to up till that point and decided to look on YouTube, just to kind of get my fix in terms of the morning before I went to school. And I remember that there was this video in the feed of a game called Monster Try, a game which up to that point I had never heard about. I didn't even know what Monster was, and I believe it was a video on the Kurapeko or the Cedeus. Either way, the video drawed me in. It was by Prince Bood 21, I believe, who I'll have to thank, honestly, for introducing me to such a fantastic series. And seeing as how I was interested in that video, I decided to watch it. And to say that it got me hooked on the series is an understatement. I began to watch more and more and more Monster content from other people such as Octam Blue, who did Monster content. And honestly, it just fed into my need to kind of get Monster. And soon I asked my parents, and soon enough, I got Monster Tribe for Wii, and it was an absolute blast. I brought it to family parties and stuff, birthdays, so that way we could play it with my cousin in the arena mode. That was fun. I vividly remember a moment in the arena of me and my cousin playing, and it was running low on time, and I was going gunner, and we killed the Kurapeka while I was flying in the air. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but for us, it was hyped the maximum. It was intense. And so, from that point onward, I became a fan of the Monster series, buying every single game in the series that came out afterwards. So Tri, Free Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, Generations, and now most likely with World. I mean, holy crap, World is amazing. And honestly, it's kind of interesting how this all started out. I kind of have a weird thing going on with me where it's like, if I want to know more about a game, or if I want to get interested, I look up the final boss of all things. Because, at least to me, the final boss is a perfect representation of what the game is. It's all of its mechanics perfectly fleshed out. It is the perfect challenge. It is the thing that the game has been building up to this entire time. And if I need to get invested on a game, I normally search up the final boss, which is, yes, I know, spoilerish, and it kind of ruins the surprise of the final boss, and honestly speaking, I'm trying to avoid that habit now. But honestly speaking, it got me more invested into a game by seeing the final boss, and when I saw Deus for the first time, you know, Kurapeka was interesting, like the fact that it could make calls to other monsters, and I was like, whoa, this combat and game is so weird and unique. It looks interesting, but it's not buying me. But as soon as I saw Deus, as soon as I saw the underwater combat, and just the size and scope of this monster, I was sold. And I just honestly have to thank, even if he didn't directly cause it, Prince Boo 21 for making me love the series and making me into a large part of what I am today. So, yeah, that's how I got started on Monster. Chrome R asks, okay, I got one question for ya. If you were to insert yourself into a universe other than Monster, said universe can be different forms of media like TV shows, books, video games, etc., what universe would it be and what would you do? Ooh, okay. Universe. This is tough. Other besides Monster. Okay, so, I'm trying to go with what I know mostly. I don't know how living out in a world filled with kaiju that destroy cities and kill millions of lives would work, so definitely not. Blaze Blue is interesting, but there's that whole time loop crap that constantly gets annoying. For me personally, if I were to be in any world, I would honestly be in Bionicle. That sounds absurd and stupid, it sounds kiddish and ridiculous, I know, but honestly speaking, I grew up with this. Like, Lego is just one of my favorite toy companies, is just, as I'm speaking right now, my desk is actually filled with, custom mocks and stuff that I've made, so it's got a pretty special place in my heart, honestly speaking. And if I were to insert myself into any world, I would probably insert into Bionicle, because it's just so interesting. Like, the lore is so thought out and in-depth, the world is explained and dynamic, and honestly speaking, the amount of variety in the powers and stuff is just insane. And honestly speaking, if I were in the world, I would probably be a Toa of electricity, or at least psychic abilities, because you know, lightning is my favorite element. I like anybody that can control storms and the weather, and I think that would be a pretty cool ability. And in terms of psychic, it's just fascinated me, like how psychic users in media can manipulate the battle to their advantage, as well as mess with their enemy's mind. And honestly speaking, I love a little bit of messing around with people, so that's kind of the reason why. And I don't know. I don't even know if I would be a Toa entirely. I don't know if I would be a hero because I kind of like messing with people, so I'd maybe go for a chaotic neutral role in terms of if I was in that world. But yeah, if I were to be in any world, it would be Bionicle. Simple as that. Monster 5000 asks, when Monster World comes out, will you be streaming gameplay? Okay, funny thing about this. As of the recording, it is the 10th of December, and the Monster World demo dropped yesterday. Funny thing, I actually tried to stream it yesterday, on my Twitch, but, it didn't go well, so to speak. I tried two different methods of, oh gosh, excuse me. I tried two different methods of streaming this. First was through PlayStation, and I kind of found this due to, a friend of Ryan's and a friend of mine, Draven. And he normally uses the same exact setup, streaming off of PlayStation, and at first it worked because, you know, gameplay was all fine and stuff, but for some odd reason it couldn't record my microphone. Even if I plugged in my Logitech headset into the controller, it just didn't pick up the microphone in the inputs. Like when I went to the input, it didn't say anything, it just said none. So I was kind of stuck there in terms of what to do. And when I tried to record with Elgato and stream it, it recorded all of the qualities, but the frames and FPS... No, that's the same thing. But the frames and just the quality of the video went down to total crap. Plus, my internet was being really sucky, I was having low bandwidth, and honestly speaking, it was just a mess. I mean, I want to stream, that's why I tried to yesterday, and honestly speaking, I think Monster World is the perfect opportunity for streaming, and for people like me to start doing it. But, with the current setup I have right now, and maybe the technology, I don't think I'll be able to at the moment. But, at some point in the future, yes, I do want to. It's just, I have to figure out a solution to this whole problem. Draconic Excalibur asks, did you expect to be a Monster only channel, or did you want to be a general gaming channel? By the way, thanks for the vids. Hey, no problem. It's just something I do, and something I love to do. But, honestly speaking, though Monster may be my main focus, no, I do not want to be an entirely Monster channel, because, honestly speaking, I have seen other YouTubers who have focused on a primary form of content, and while those videos that they did on that content got a lot of views, when they tried to branch out later on, once they had, say, 1,000, 2,000 subs, it didn't work out. They didn't get quite that many views, and the rest of their videos, besides the thing that people came for, were watched. Example of this I could think of off the top of my head is Living Corpse. He's a kaiju fan and kaiju central YouTuber, and he's had quite a problem for the longest time with getting people to care about his other forms of content besides Godzilla and stuff. So I honestly speaking want to kind of avoid that. I don't want to be known just for being a Monster guy. I don't want to be known just as a guy who may rant a lot or likes Zenogre maybe a little bit too much. But I honestly want to be known as the Monarch of Dragons, not just simply another Monster YouTuber. And which is why you've probably been seeing all the different forms of videos I've been uploading recently. I want to get into other franchises. I want to get into BlazBlue. I want to get into Godzilla. I want to do all this other kinds of content that will allow me to expand my channel in the future and possibly gain in new followers. Which is why you've been seeing me doing and uploading a bunch of videos of Bloodborne primarily, and me starting to get back into BlazBlue. And it just comes down to this whole thing where it's like, I believe that if I do it later rather than sooner, it'll be too late because of the amount of followers I have, and that the rest of my content will get unloved and undeserved, what the frick, will get unloved and not be noticed that much compared to my main primary forms of content. And I mean, it's already kind of doing that. I mean, just look at my top most videos. I mean, how the heck is that Cantor video, a video that which I have admitted is bad, still my second most viewed video? YouTube algorithm, man. Guantanamo Bay asks, alright, riddle me this, Monarch. 1. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. 2. Assuming you're playing your persona, explain how Zenogre's shock attacks work in your words. Hold on. I see you are interested in the way Zenogre works, so allow me to explain it to you in the clearest of ways. Simply put, we do not control electricity. Zenogre's life consists of a symbiotic relationship between us, the Zenogres, and the Fulgubugs. The Fulgubugs come to us and seek of aid and protection from the natural predator, the Gargua, and in return, they give us these electrical powers. They are herded onto our backs and gather into our generators, so to speak, our fur, and they start building up electricity, and soon, like a generator, it starts building up for the entire body. And when enough Fulgubugs gather on a single Zenogre's back, when enough electricity is generated, the electricity spreads throughout our body in a myriad of ways, which is why you see spikes and fur pop up and glow with electricity, because we are conducting it. We are now electrified, so to speak. Our generator is absorbing electricity from the Fulgubugs, and during this state, we are capable of using the Fulgubugs to attack. We have temporarily gained the power to use electricity, though it's primarily in the form of the Fulgubugs, such as in the electric balls we shoot out from our tails. Those aren't just electricity, those are Fulgubugs if you look closely enough. Even our lightning calls and thunder that comes down from the sky, it's all Fulgubugs. They are the ones to do the electricity, while we just conduct them in a way that allows us to use them to our advantage. Okay. 3. Favorite film? Oh gosh, okay, I have a multitude of favorite films. Obviously enough, I have to say some of my favorite films include, Godzilla. So, 2014, Shin Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, those are some of my favorites. Though, one that personally stands out to me was the first Avengers film. Like, at the time, nothing like that had ever been done, and it was honestly amazing seeing all these characters gather into one spot in one movie to face a common threat, and it was amazing how Marvel built this up. I loved the Phase 1 Marvel movies, and just seeing all these characters, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, come together for the first time ever in the big screen was amazing, honestly speaking, and it's a moment I won't forget, that's for sure. Derek Meek asked, congrats on the 500 subs, dude. Have you seen the Monsters of Monster World? If so, which one do you like the most? Yes, I have seen the Monsters of Monster World, and honestly speaking, I am loving the way that they are designing these creatures. But if I would have to say some of my favorites, first up on the list is of course everyone's fan favorite Palumu, the fluff bat himself, or herself, I don't care. But this thing is just freaking adorable, and the design and concept for it is just amazing. It is that same kind of weird yet intriguing that mimics our life so clearly that gets us hooked onto this creature, and honestly speaking, if this was a monster kind of style world, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing in an area such as the Coral Highlands. It is that believable for me. It's ridiculous, but it has that air of believability to it. And plus, it is just frickin' adorable. Just look at that. Another of my favorite monsters would probably have to be Tobi-Kadachi. And it's surprisingly a fanged wyvern. And I'll just say this right now. For as much as I love Zenogre, I kind of got tired of him being the only fanged wyvern in his entire species. And you know, I get it. He is the monarch of his species, the king and only one thus far. But it honestly got tired. I wanted to see what they could do with the fanged wyvern classification and flesh that out into other monsters. And now, not only have we gotten 1 new fanged wyverns, or even 2 new fanged wyverns, we've got 3 new fanged wyvern monsters. And that is just amazing. And I think Tobi-Kadachi is personally my favorite. It is just, it's so weird. The way it moves around is just, it reminds me of like a predator, like stalking through the jungle, like a panther, stalking its prey through the shadows, planning every move, calculating, and striking with dedicated force and action. And I just love its mechanic, like the fact that it builds up static electricity by attacking and moving via the hairs, and the fact of how its design concept was based off a taser. That is frickin' unique, and I just love it. And my final one, I'd have to say, even though I love almost all of the world monsters, I would have to say another one of my favorites would have to be Zora Magdaros. Ever since I saw this guy, he has just intrigued me in how he would work, from the first teaser up until now, where we see a glimpse of how his battle would work, and just the monster in his entirety. He is so interesting. He is like the Godzilla of this franchise. And yes, by the way, I didn't make that Godzilla analogy just for anything. He has been confirmed to be the largest monster in the entire series by the developer themselves. That is insane when you consider monsters like Lao Shanlun and Dalamadur exist in the same franchise. And honestly speaking, while it reminds me a lot of Lao, I think it's different enough, and I just love the concept of like a snapping turtle with like a volcano as a shell, and I am intrigued by it. That's just the simplest way to describe it. I'm intrigued on how its life and ecology works. I'm interested on how the battle with it will work and how it will play out. And I'm interested into what role it will play in the story, because it's going to play a very important role, judging from the story trailers we've gone this far. And honestly speaking, I cannot be any more hyped for this monster. I need it. I need to fight it now. Target Wolf asks, will you do Monster World gameplay on the channel, like Bloodborne? And if so, which platform? Yes, as I've said, I will do Monster gameplay, or Monster World gameplay on the channel, whether through what I usually do with Bloodborne or for streaming. Who knows? I'll have to figure that out. But yes, I will do it, and it will be on the PlayStation 4, because I don't have an Xbox One, or should I say, Xbone. And honestly speaking, I don't think my computer would be powerful enough to run the game itself and record it at the same time. I mean, if you've seen my Terraria series, you know how laggy it can get with my computer. Like, having to host the world, be in a call with Spizzy and RJ, and just having to host it, record it, be in a call, and playing the game at the same time it messes up my computer. And I don't think my computer would be able to handle world. Would be freaking stuttering. But yeah, PS4. So, there you go. I don't know how to end this. Styxian Lord asks, what Magala do you prefer? And if none of them, why? Okay, Magalas. I think one of my favorites, or my favorite of the Magalas that I prefer, will probably be Shigaru. Just the way it was built up in the story, how the fight and intro played out with the creature scanning you and having a standoff with you. It was amazing. And how hectic the battle was, with the constant explosions around the arena in rage mode. And just how this thing was basically like a Gormagala, which is already pretty mobile, but faster and more aggressive, just made for an intense battle. And oh, that music! Can't we talk about that music? It is perfect for a final battle. It is telling you that the fate of the world is in your hands, and that if you don't stop it, a virus will spread throughout the lands and consume everything. It is just, oh. And I honestly think Shigaru Magala is one of my favorite monsters of all time. I am dead serious. I loved his battle so much. I love the symbolism behind Gore and Shigaru, and how Gore relates and develops into Shigaru. Light and shadow, as well as chaotic Gore, just being that messed up in between. So, yeah, Shigaru all the way. Chaotic Gore Magala asks, congrats, and what are your favorite monster or monsters? Zinogre is prob on it from what I can tell from your vids. No, it's totally not Zinogre. It's not like I use him on my videos. Come on, guys, just please give me a break. Okay, all joking aside, yes, he is my favorite monster. I mean, there's a reason why he's my banner, and why I've infamously used him in a lot of my videos, but, in terms of my other favorites, like I said, Shigaru, definitely in, like, the top 3 for me. Sideus is probably one of my favorite monsters, just due to probably the nostalgia and how this was kind of the monster to get me into the series, thanks to Prince Boo 21's videos. And I just have fond memories of that battle, even if the first phase is slow, and I will admit the underwater combat can be clunky and messed up at times. That didn't stop me from enjoying the battle and the overall feel of it. Oh gosh, other favorite battles. I don't know. I'd have to say one of my favorite monsters would have to be Kurapeko, just due to that special place it holds into my heart, as one of the first monsters I saw, thanks to Prince Boo 21, but also because of its unique mechanic, and the scares I got when I entered high rank, and it just summoned a Devil Joe out of nowhere, or how I was on a capture quest for it in low rank, and it just summoned a Raffian out of nowhere. Like, that crap was nervous when it could just summon a monster out of nowhere and totally change up how the quest works. Like, if you knew nothing about Devil Joe and its mechanics with Kurapeko, then you'd be in for quite a shock. But now almost everybody knows it, so the scare factor kind of went away with Devil Joe, which is a real shame, and I would love to see Kurapeko in future games, just to see what kind of devious and trollish calls and schemes it can make with the new monsters introduced in these generations. But oh gosh, at the moment I just can't currently list a lot of favorite monsters on my top of my head. In fact, I think if I were to do this, I would need to make a top 10 list of sorts, so hey, you just gave me an idea for a video. Be on the lookout for that when that comes out. Ikane asks, first off, congrats! Now, my question, what is your favorite mythical creature? Favorite mythical creature? Oh, gosh, I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. I mean, dragons are pretty obvious ones, of course, and the amount of variety they come in different shapes and forms just intrigue me, from like the wyverns to the hydras of the world to Jormungandr. Like, that crap interests me. And I'd say another of my favorite mythological creatures would have to be mythical snakes and stuff, so Jormungandr most likely. And gosh, I'm trying to come up with stuff off the top of my head. For a Q&A, this is definitely intense, or just strange. And another one I'd probably have to say would be the Titans from Greek mythology. Just the size and scale and how they've been represented in games like God of War just intrigue me. Like, freaking Kronos, man, he is gigantic. And I don't know, I just think that the mythology behind, or the lore behind Greek mythology, and the Titans and the gods of Olympus was just intriguing. England in my city asks, which city is the best? I find England the best. Overused meme. No comment. And finally, Ryan from Red Leopard Videos asks, well, okay, what is your favorite monster to make fun of? What is your favorite color on Tuesdays and Thursdays? And if you could make any video you wanted, what would it be and why? Also, congrats on 500 subs. Thanks, dude. Okay, favorite monster to make fun of? Kazu. Definitely. I mean, frickin', it is one of my least favorite monsters, but just how it behaves and how weak it is. I just can't help but make fun of it. And from all the penis-related jokes to it, and how it is literally a penis monster, It's childish, I know, but freaking it just fits so well with it. And it's funny how Giganox, a monster commonly regarded as a very hard monster and bad by some, does it so much better, does the scare factor, and what Kazu sought out intentionally to do, so much better than Kazu could ever do. The only time I was intentionally creeped out by Kazu was during the ecology videos, and even then, that was more of a realistic life approach to it. Just in terms of general gameplay, I just can't help but make fun of Kazu. And plus, Kezi is the best meme. Just 10 out of 10. Favorite color on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Blue. And black. I mean, that's generally my favorite colors. Just any color with black just generally works for me. I like it, and, you know, I like blue. There's not much behind this question and answer besides just, oh yeah, I like blue and black. And if I could make any video I wanted, what would it be and why? I mean, if this question was before my CDAS video, I would have to see the CDAS video, because I've always been interested in CDAS and the symbolism it offered, if there were any clues or mysteries behind it, and just due to the fact that it holds a special place in my heart, that always kind of intrigued me about it. But since that video is already out, can't do that. Okay. Coming up with video topics. This is very awkward for me, just trying to come up with topics off the top of my head. I mean, if I'll be honest, I love doing mythology videos. I love doing CDAS and the Godzilla NES creepypastas. And so, if I could make any other videos I wanted to, it would probably be a video on Dire Morales, I'd say, because he's another one of my favorite monsters. I probably should have stated that, but oh well. And honestly speaking, I find that the whole mythology and symbolism behind the third generation and how it begins and how it ends interesting and fascinating. And I'd probably do it mostly due to the fact that, like, you know, Dire Morales is a favorite of mine, and I see a lot of hidden symbolism, much like CDAS, into it. Symbolism that can be explored and connected to, and just made a bunch of theories about. I mean, I wouldn't say theories, but oh well, that's what people can call them anyway. But yeah, that would be what I make and why. First Q&A. 40 minutes into recording. This is definitely going to be cut down a lot. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed asking me all these questions. It was interesting doing this for the first time. It was unique seeing the questions you guys gave me. And honestly speaking, if I wanted to do another one of these Q&As in the future, I would definitely love to do so. And who knows, maybe when we reach 1,000 subs, that will happen. There, you guys have your goal. Now go get people to subscribe to me now. All joking aside, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my responses to your questions. And if you enjoyed the content and what was shown, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, anything to do to help support my channel and the content I produce. It means a lot to know that you guys care about a guy as small as me in terms of a YouTube landscape. I mean, freaking, I am an ant compared to other YouTubers, yet you guys decide to subscribe and watch me anyway, despite all that, so I cannot thank you enough. You don't have to subscribe or stuff, but any of this kind of content and what you guys do will help support and further my channel. And, you know, I have a Discord and Twitter in the link in the description below that you can go follow me on. And I think that's about it. I've been the Monarch of Dragons. Sign off to you. Have a fantastic day or night, wherever you live. Peace.